Hey, it's Just So Trish, and today I am reviewing, well, maybe if you can see that, I'm reviewing Easy Peasy Homeschool. Okay, so Easy Peasy Homeschool, if you don't know about it, is completely free. It's kind of blog set up, and it is 180 days worth of schoolwork. And it is created by Lee Giles. She is a full-time missionary all over Europe, but they're based out of Pennsylvania, if you don't know. And she originally set it up as a place to store her kids' schoolwork, so she started building it up, and all of a sudden everybody started using it. So that's how it kind of came about. So it's one woman's perspective. It is not Common Core oriented at all, and I had to laugh. Somebody asked if it was, what's that word? I'm got to come up with it. The word for, is it accredited? That was the word. And I was like, you are looking for accredited? I don't think you're going to get that for free. But I have used Easy Peasy in the past, like a couple years back, and I tried it again now, and I'm going to give you my pros and cons to what I love about Easy Peasy and what I can't get over with Easy Peasy. So I want to give you, I know this is kind of a weird way to do it, but I have it on my iPad, and I want to show you. You can run Easy Peasy on your tablets and on your computers. There are some things that the computers are best for, and you could even print out Easy Peasy. So this is the basics of it that you're going to find. It does have a Kathy Duffy's top pick, which is great. She has actually gone and reviewed it. She gets into, the very first thing you get to is, what is Easy Peasy? All-in-one homeschool. In the sides, you get into the labels, and one of the labels I want to show you. So it starts around preschool. Here's the thing she does. She is her philosophy that is apparent in her curriculum is, teach that child to read, we'll get to numbers later. So if you go right into like level 1 is her first grade, but I love the fact that she doesn't put grades on there, it's just levels. First grade is, you can read day 1, The Tale of Jolly Robins. Not typical for my first grade, but at the same time, your math is basic counting. And so she kind of has these two getting started levels, getting ready levels. Yeah, getting ready levels. That is a mix of phonetics and sight words. And so she spends about 2 years, and so she starts around 3rd grade. So that's one thing you're going to notice really quickly. But her stuff is kind of advanced. So when I did a 2-week trial out of it, I actually put my 5th grader at a high reading level into the 4th grade level. 4th level. My 4th grade into the 3rd grade level, and my 2nd grader into the 1st grade level. And then I did a little bit of the getting started. She has it broken up where you can do a complete level. She covers reading, writing, math, typing, critical thinking, computers, art. You know, she covers your main parts. And the really cool part is the way she has it set up is then you can divide it out and just go to, so say if your child's like, I'm a language arts 4 and I'm a math 10, you can actually pair it up and it doesn't all get crazy. She has it set up really nice where she's kind of copied and pasted, and you just access those pages. And then for the supplementary, like your art, Bible, history, science is like on a 4-year rotation. A lot like the classical studies, you know, like, I don't know, I can't remember anything. It's still too early. But it works out really nice, and everything is computer oriented. You're on the web. She's just has done this fantastic job of just scouring the internet for free games. So if all else fails and you're looking for educational applicable games, go to Easy Peasy. Just click the subject you're looking for at what level, and you'll start finding games within the days. It's fantastic. The other thing she does is she has a section called Scope and Sequence. So right here, you'll see the label, scope and sequence, right underneath the home. See them right here. And in that, you'll be able to print off all kinds of things. And I'll show you some of the stuff I printed off. So, as for her content, I think her content is phenomenal. I mean, you gotta win with me when one of your assigned readings is a book I've already printed and bound in my home library. And if you ever want to see how I do that, bam, I'll stick a card up there for you. I have some videos on how I bind and how I pull these. This is just a Google book. So we didn't have to read everything online. We already have some of her books. So I love the fact that she sticks to classical reading. She's using the McGuffey readers. Some of the favorites through level 1 was she would have the link straight to the page you need to read in the archive book. So you have this beautifully illustrated book from the turn of the century. That was just gorgeous, and the content is amazing, but that might be my personal thing. And it really, in the beginning years, has a lot of tie-in, so it does require me. It's not completely independent until they're older. So I do like that. The math games are great. The history is awesome. The just add-ins she has in there, and it's free. It is free. They have an amazing community on Facebook, and you can just start typing easy peasy and you'll start finding the links for large families, for your state, for whatever level you're doing, general chit chat. And there's so much help. They have a spot to report if a link is no longer working, to report a link. It really works out great. One of the things she talks about is, and it's commonly discussed, is you could get done in your day in a couple hours. Well, not in my house. My house, they like to drag it out forever. So, she has changed not really changed a few things. Just first off, she's not for profit. If you've spent any time with her, you will quickly know this. She is not peddling books and everything else to get a bigger car. She is crazy not for profit. Not that she is crazy, but that is her intent. God has just put it on her heart to make it available so people who have a desire to homeschool without finances can. But she has come out with a book. And I think she actually has them printed off of off of Amazon. Amazon, I think, prints these to order or has a small stash of them. So this is Learning to Read with Easy Peasy. I bought it out of curiosity. I don't remember how much. It wasn't much. It's right there with a typical workbook. It wasn't more than, I think, $15. You can get all of them up. You can even get worksheets. So you could use this curriculum in a workbook setting that you don't have the electronic games, but you have worksheets that go with it that they've made the time to read. So let me show you a little bit on here. And so all of her books are free domain. So it goes right into here's the letters that you need to know how to use. And then she goes, here's lesson 1. So she has the words really big, but then she has the pictures from the McGuffey reader. And so it kind of goes that way. We haven't really used it so far, but it is the McGuffey readers in kind of a very friendly font. And then she gets into phonetics in the back. So, I mean, we haven't used it off the, I haven't used it in depth yet. We're still trying out the kindergartner with it, just kind of having fun with that. But I thought that was really neat, and you can buy the worksheets and stuff to print out with it. So I thought that was cool. All on Amazon. Okay, and I bet you anything she donates all her profits. So how I set up, now I'm telling you, we're not doing this still, but what I came up to set up to use the program, and I'll tell you why we're not doing it. This is just a basic Word template that I put together. And as you can see, 2 weeks later, we're not even done with week 1. So this is a typical issue with us. But one of the parts in the printables is they have the entire 180 days you can print out. I like this. Last time, years ago when we went to use it, I had a hard time trying to figure out what they were doing because nothing was on paper. And so now having this on paper, I can take a look at what they're doing and I can cross out, was the goal. I could cross out with what they're doing. So one of the things I did was I highlighted the days, so they had an idea of where to start and stop. And then checking it off, making sure we did that. I like that aspect. And then she recommends having a divider for each section, kind of. So this is my daughter's, you know, reading. And that's what I really, really was fascinated and I love about Easy Peasy, is you're not putting things into the computer. You know, they're not typing things in, they're learning to type, but they're not typing things in the computer. They're actually putting the work into notebooks, on paper into notebooks, or on printables. And that really appeals to me. So I did that, and then they were putting their, you know, that's just one other science. So that was my 4th grade. This was my 1st graders. There would be like days that you have pages to print out. So one of the things I did was when I would write in, you know, we're doing Easy Peasy day 3, and I would put little asterisks on there so that I knew I needed to have things printed out. See, so my 1st grader, my 2nd grader was like on it. And then this bottom one was when we would do the group. And you can see, like, finding time to get us together was just hard. I don't know, do you mamas have that? So I did the same thing with her, where I printed out the 1st grade one. And now there's updates going on it, and this is just a PDF. So it's not exactly the same, but it gave me like an idea of where we're going, what we need to have, so forth. I liked it because it even had copy work in here. So, you know, these are kind of the sheets we had. Sometimes it does feel a little bouncy around, but for the most part it was okay. So what she's also put together in PDF form, or you can buy it printed, is level 1 copy work, which is optional. You don't need to use this because it states it in the thing. And then she also had, we lost the cover. No, we didn't. It's right here. Easy Peasy Math 1 printables. And so it's just kind of got a list. So I think one of the mamas built this for her. And I kept all of that in here. Pretty awesome for free. So my cons. Sometimes the math feels more like games and not paper pencil. And the reality is, to get through the games, you're doing your math drills. But I ran into my children would spend hours, you know, and granted, this is my problem, my house, this is because of my house, is I have a hard time keeping up with everybody, and I don't have any, like, ability to prevent them, besides, I'm gonna get you know, to prevent them from sitting there playing games when I'm not realizing. So I know this is a lack of discipline in my house, but I have an issue with that. I have a hard time with that. The other aspect I have a hard time with is they would do one thing for reading, and there's 3 things listed, and they were not following it as it should. So, and then they'll be like, oh, look, I'm done. Well, if I don't go back and check every part, I don't know. So, I hate to say lack of trust issue in my house, but they are young, and holding them accountable. And like, I look at it and I'm like, oh my goodness, this would be so much fun just to sit here and just get absorbed into this. And I think there's a lot of kids that do. Mine just tend not to. And I felt like this was the same issue I had a couple years ago when I tried using it. I mean, they would do it, and like my son wasn't reading really well, so he would just kind of skim things all the time. And then I wasn't for sure his depth that he was getting, and there wasn't really a way to assess it. And there are answers to the questions. They have, you know, it's hilarious. It's like parents only is a code password. And she has the password written in the text somewhere. So you can go, or you can highlight to find the answers. But it would be I have a hard time holding my children accountable to assess that they have done what they said they were doing. Hence, as good as this curriculum is, I think it's just sound curriculum. I can't use it. Ugh. My children won't, you know, and I don't know. I mean, and then they just, I don't know if it just feels like it's too much and they can't, you know, whatever, but they just don't do it. So I will tell you, if this was put into software, bam! I hate to say, if it was put into software like Switched On Schoolhouse, it would be incredible. Incredible. But it's not. And I love her book selections. And she even has it like a list of, here's the books we're reading for this level, this level, this level. It goes all the way up. And the cool part is she even has it set up for high school, which is awesome. So one of the things, in order to balance, I will tell you that one of my tips and tricks for this, and that I use it, and even though I'm not using the curriculum per se, I still am using this, is I actually have a blog. Well, I have a lot of them, but I have a blog set up for our homeschool. So it's like our homeschool.blogspot.com. And I put on there, and I've only given access to an email that I have assigned for my children. But that ends up being our Google login. So I'm able to create their own Google Chrome space with this login. All I have to do, and it pulls up all the tabs I need it. And I'll do a whole video on that eventually. But on how I organize things, and it makes it easy, but so it'll let me go and pull some of the games I really like out of Easy Peasy, and I can just kind of leave it there so my children still have access to it without going through all the information. So that's my review. I love Easy Peasy. It just doesn't work for us. Oh, but that's the way it is. But I am impressed. I am going to give this a shot and still use it, even if it's just for a reference. I think it's a great reference. And it definitely, even if you're in the process of you're not looking to use Easy Peasy, but you want to use McGuffey Primer, this is a good book to have in your arsenal. So anyways, peace out, mamas. I'll talk to you later.